Hello, internet. And wow, showing a lot of chest there. Didn't realize it's hot in the office today. Hello, internet, and welcome to the Free-to-Play cast, brought to you by MMOBomb.com, your home for all things free-to-play related. I'm your host, Mike Byrne, aka magicman, and we've got free-to-play news to talk about. This is episode 236. Recording September 28th, and you're watching it on the 29th or later. But first, before we get to the news, let's introduce the host. First up, hopefully nothing is burning or on fire in the apartment. Jason Winter, how are you?
Not currently, but, you know, last week that was different, so... But also, I mean, do you want me to show some skin, too? Because that would definitely drive the views to someone else's video.
I think people would call that clickbait, baby. That's clickbait right there. Also on the line, Ms. Quinlan Bowers. What's up? What? Hey, you got somebody... Go ahead and lick that crotch.
Oh no! It's his back and ass right now. He's not in the crotch. Otherwise, he'd be doing the weird ballerina leg in the air pose if he was doing his crotch.
Right, like Adam West on Family Guy with his leg up in the air. All right, so we've got free-to-play news, man skin, and cats licking things. That is the clickbaity title of the century right there. I think we've got it. But let's slide over and get started with the news before we get too far off the rails here.
Oh, we're off.
We're off. All right, so the big news this past week, and we kind of started mentioning this last week in just kind of a cursory passing thing, but it really amped up to be what I think is one of the most ridiculous big stories in video gaming of 2017 so far. So we talked briefly about Battle Royale being introduced into Fortnite last week, and about how they were introducing it not just into the game, but also as a standalone feature so that you could get it free right now, rather than just having to buy the Fortnite Founders Pack or wait until Fortnite itself goes free in 2018 after they come out of all of their early access, beta testing, whatever. So you can play Battle Royale right now. You've been able to play it for about 2 days now, and it launched everywhere. PC, Xbox One, and PlayStation 4. So we kind of talked about that, and we kind of laughed because PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, PUBG, decided that they might have a problem with this, Jason.
Yeah, so we saw this statement, this like press release going around the internet, and the thing is, it was so ridiculous sounding that we weren't sure it was legit, because we couldn't find like it on any official source or anything. Turns out I actually had an email from them like in my inbox, but I sort of ignored that for a couple hours. But yeah, we just found like the statement on pastebin.com. Someone had pasted it there. People were talking about it on Reddit, on various sites, and we were like,
TB himself sent out the link to the paste bin.
Who did?
Total Biscuit.
Oh. Well, yeah, but, you know, people have been fooled before.
Yeah, we were trying to do our due diligence.
Yeah, it took us a little while to verify it. Eventually we did. And basically they said, first of all, they start off, you know, Blue Hole Inc., who's the publisher of Battlegrounds. PUBG is what the kids call it, not PUBG.
I know.
You're so square, Mike. Get with it.
I'm not allowed to say the bomb. I'm not allowed to say clutch. And now I'm not allowed to say PUBG. So.
PUBG. So, what it started off, it said, you know, Blue Hole Inc., creators of PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, responds to community concerns surrounding Fortnite's Battle Royale mode. It's like, who in the community, what some players were concerned about this? No, you guys were concerned. And what they're concerned about, they start off by saying, we've had an ongoing relationship with Epic Games throughout PUBG's development, as they are the creator of Unreal Engine 4, the engine we licensed for the game. We have, you know, blah, 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 various things. We've noticed that Epic Games references PUBG and the promotion of Fortnite to their community and in communications with the press. This was never discussed with us, and we don't feel that it's right.
Yeah, but and here's the thing, Q, the way they said it, this wasn't like, I mean, this was very WildStar saying, we're inspired by World of Warcraft and what World of Warcraft used to be and stuff like that was the extent of them mentioning PUBG in their press and stuff like that. And I'm looking at the initial announcement, trying to find so that I can quote it for you correctly. Whoops. Helps if I hit the right keys here. Here we go. Wait, what? Yeah, and this is from Fortnite's press release announcing Battle Royale. What the PUBG team was referencing, saying they referenced us in that, and we didn't think that was right. This is the reference they're talking about. Yeah, we made a PvP mode for Fortnite. We love Battle Royale games like PUBG, and thought Fortnite would make a great foundation for our own version. A few months ago, Epic's Unreal Tournament team began experimenting with the mode, while the original Fortnite team kept updating the core game. To maintain game balance, we kept the PvP mode completely separate from the PvE mode, which kind of addresses our concerns that we mentioned about Ark Survival last week. The new Battle Royale mode was so much fun, we decided to share it with everyone to get feedback. So it was kind of like they told the Unreal Tournament team, hey, go screw with this. And it ended up being fun, and so they put it in. But that's the extent of the reference. We love Battle Royale games like PUBG, and thought Fortnite would make a great foundation for our own version. So PUBG thought, that's not right, Q. We didn't like that they did that. We just thought that wasn't right, which I think right off the bat is already pretty petty, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, it gets a little bit weirder, too.
Yeah, that's why I
right?
just
like,
wanted to say right there, that's pretty petty. But it just gets worse.
Back and they're like, they come back later and they're like, it actually has nothing to do with the fact that they're doing a battleground, because everybody's doing battlegrounds. It's just literally because it's Epic, and what we're really, I mean, you know, watered down version of it. What we're really afraid of is that because since we're using, you know, their engine and they're helping us with stuff on their engine, that they'll just steal stuff or make improvements on it, but not share the improvements with us. So, you know, so it's like, oh, okay, I'm not really seeing where the financial benefit for them is in doing that, because if they don't help you and all of that, then they're going to end up losing money because you're going to quit using the engine.
Well, and now here's the thing, too. They even referenced in that initial presser, Jason, they went back to a quote by Brendan Green, a player unknown himself, right? Mm-hmm. When he was asked about other companies replicating the Battle Royale experience, as if that question even warranted being valid to ask PUBG's team about the Battle Royale experience being replicated. It has been done to death before PUBG. And PUBG fans took off on all of these articles and said, you guys didn't invent this. It seems like, from your initial statements, you're getting upset about somebody ripping you off for something that you kind of ripped off anyway. And this was Green's quote, other companies will, of course, enter the marketplace, but I would just hope that they put their own spin on the game mode and not just make a carbon copy. Well, when you're talking about emulating not just a game, but an actual game mode, that's what Battle Royale is, by the way. You know, it's not a game, it is a game mode that has just exploded through quality work on PUBG. And I'm not dissing the game by any stretch of the imagination. No. How on earth do you diss a game that is as big as that one is right now? I'm dissing this absolute response, and fans rightfully called them out, Jason, and said, you didn't create Battle Royale. It's kind of silly to be putting up this whole front. Now, Q, to your point, and what they said in that initial statement, I get those concerns, right? I license software off of Jason. I build something cool with it. Jason sees what I did and builds a competitor to that. I can see, logically, broad strokes, why that idea might cause some friction. But it wasn't just that type of broad thing, right? It should have been looked at just a little finer and gone, well, it's Fortnite. That game kind of already lends itself to a Battle Royale mode, kind of like, you know, H1Z1 and other crafting builder survivals do. Yeah, they're not doing this specifically to compete with us. By the way, their Battle Royale is free. In what way is this a potential financial draw away from PUBG for them to have been this outlandishly upset to begin with? And they didn't do themselves any favors after people started pointing this out, Q. What happened then?
Oh God, I don't even remember.
I'll take it. I know. I've got to pull up.
Jason knows better than I do.
Go ahead, Jason.
So after this, they actually did an interview with PC Gamer. Bluehole did, with a couple of their executives. It says, what is it? Specifically Bluehole VP and executive producer Chang-An Kim. So, and I suppose there's got to be translation issues here.
This interview, yeah, you're absolutely right, because this interview was meant to clarify the comments made in their original presser and try to come out and say, hey, we weren't pissed because we created Battle Royale. We did not. We understand that. Here's what our concern is about. And I don't think it clarified much.
Yeah, I mean, it's on the one hand, I do get their it clarified maybe the overall notion. I kind of get their stance of this is Epic. We license from them. We don't want, we're worried that they'll screw us over, like you kind of described. It doesn't clarify just that much, but then they're so bad at when they're having a direct question asked. Like here's the one. So what I'm hearing is you'd like Epic to license their Battle Royale from you. Is that what I'm hearing? What I think is they should at least come to us. No, where was that one? There was one here that was just an exact question that they didn't answer properly. But yeah, they meander. They get these little questions that are pretty easy to do, and they just kind of go on about them, and just kind of go all over the place. And you just wonder, like, what was the plan here? Like, the communication in the original thing was bad. This communication is bad. You got to do a little better than this if you were. Frankly, you're making enough money, you can hire someone real to actually do your PR. That's sort of the problem here.
Well, and initially, the first statement made it seem like they were getting ready to lawyer up, Q.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a pretty aggressive original presser that was, we're examining our options, and this is wrong, and they're saying, hey, it was used in our promotional video that was posted on Twitter. They would openly mention that they were fans. That kind of gave the impression that we were officially involved in this. No, it didn't. I don't think anybody thought, oh, Fortnite is a fan of PUBG, so Bluehole must be helping them make. No, I don't think anybody walked away with that. The
community was concerned, remember. The community was concerned.
And there may be some that were. Go ahead, Q.
I don't know. I mean, some people will find anything to be concerned about. Like, if they can, they will. But for the most part, I'm pretty sure people are just like, oh, well, there's something else for me to play when I don't feel like playing PUBG. I mean,
oh, my God.
And what I saw is a few people tweeting, hey, PUBG, thanks for bringing this to my attention. Now I'm going to go play Fortnite. I didn't know about this before. But now that you've done this.
The PC Gamer interview, the one question that struck me the biggest, Jason, and maybe it's the one you were looking for too. So the question was, so it's not the mode you guys have the issue with, because that's where they got lambasted. Was you didn't create this. From your statement or your press release earlier today, it said that there were similarities in the UI, and the other things mentioned were the gameplay and structural replication in the Battle Royale mode. Can you specifically, exactly, if you're not objecting to a Battle Royale mode in some other game, then what do you mean by concerns about gameplay? Which I thought, kudos to PC Gamer. I mean, some of these questions were direct and very pointed. Kudos to them. You don't often see big outlets like PC Gamer asking these types of pointed questions. The reply, there are a lot of different issues, but everyone else that released a Battle Royale game mode made their own thing. But it was Epic Games that made this game that is similar to us, that has similar elements, and that's the concern, that it was Epic Games. We use Unreal Engine to develop PUBG, and we pay a large amount of royalties based on the size of our success to Epic Games, and which is another reason I don't think Epic Games would ever want you to have problems with this game, by the way. And Epic Games always promoted their licensing model, saying, we want to support the success of indie developers. And Bluehole is this indie developer that has been the most successful one using the Unreal Engine this year. And that's the problem that I see. Total dodge. Total dodge. The question was, if you're not saying that the mode is copied, can you specifically tell me other gameplay things that you do feel are copied? And they just said, similar elements. And it's all about that it was Epic Games that did this. But I just don't... Why the stink, Q? Why?
I don't know, but it's weird. It's like just reading that first paragraph, like you said. They're like, you know, there's people that have released it and they made their own thing, but it was Epic Games that made this game. And then he finishes and that's the concern, that it was Epic. It wasn't even, well, it's Epic that copied us, like, or anything else. At the end of the day, those last 5 words, that it was Epic. That's it. That's the concern.
And the next question, if you look at that, the next question says, you know, again, he's trying to just pin it down. So so if say you had no real connection with Epic, it wouldn't be an issue. It's specifically because it's Epic that you license their engine. Is that correct? At that point, the first word should be yes
or no. Yeah.
One of them. But he goes, so Battle Royale is just about last man standing. It's a simple game mode, blah, 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 blah. It's like, your first word has to be yes or no there.
Yeah.
Well, then he goes on about copycats in China.
Yeah, it just goes all over the place. Here's the one that I found flabbergasting. Absolutely flabbergasting. Prior to the press release you sent out about the issue, had you reached out to Epic through different channels? Seems like a logical thing, right? I have a contract with Jason, so clearly I have contacts within Jason's company. Mm-hmm. Let's say I had no clue this was coming, and I just saw a commercial that referenced my product and Jason making some similar product. Mm-hmm. I think my first call, before I send out a worldwide press release that basically threatened we're looking at legal options, would have been, hey, let me get my contact at Jason Inc. on the phone and see what the hell this is all about.
You're selling player PUBG, a really successful game. You can contact Jason directly. I'll give you my personal number.
Right? The answer was, and the question was just, prior to the release you sent out, did you reach out to Epic? So we didn't have any real discussions with Epic, and we just found out through articles from the media, and then it took us a long time to figure out what was going on, because we found this out through media, and it took us a long time, and Epic was being really aggressive about making this into a standalone game that will be released on different platforms, and we thought we need to straighten things out here and then clarify some things. So they waited on theirs. How hard was this to figure out? I know. I don't get it. It had been about
a week or so since between like when they announced the Battle Royale mode and when that press release came out. In that time, you can find somebody, right?
I mean, it's just the whole thing.
You could contact them and say, hey, man, we just saw a thing. What's the deal, yo?
And then they've said that since then, like, next steps, they have reached out to Epic Korea, but at the point of the interview, there was no response or anything yet. They didn't have any type of discussions. They just want to emphasize the problem because Epic is the company that makes the engine we use, and we pay them a lot of money. Like, they kept reiterating that. I'm just staggered. To me, it just seems like bluster and absolute ego for a game that, if it wasn't as wildly, ridiculously, financially successful as it is, would itself just be considered a carbon copy of other Battle Royale games. Mm-hmm. You know, granted, they have done things slightly differently here as far as the performance and the models and the realistic. It does its job very well. That's why people have adapted to it. But people came knowing exactly what to expect from the gameplay. Why? Because it's been done hundreds of other times before. And it's like they just have this... It's like this ego response because we're the big dog on the block now. Could you imagine Blizzard doing this when MMOs started copying things and expanding into from other companies and stuff like this? Just trying to say, we created this when they had EverQuest and all these other things behind them?
I wonder if Terra has ever referenced WoW in any of its promotional materials.
Rift flat out said we copied WoW.
Yeah. WildStar said the same thing.
Like WoW, we copied WoW.
WildStar was
Final Fantasy.
WildStar was all about rebuilding the original vanilla WoW experience when it was in development. Remember that?
Terra in particular because of Bluehole.
Right, because of Bluehole Studios.
But remember, like Final Fantasy when Yoshi P was redoing everything, one of the first things he said was, a mistake we made is not paying attention to what WoW was doing and do some of that. Like, you know, like,
it's stunning. The quote that I love is, and this is from CH Kim, "It was just a bit surprising and disappointing to see our business partner using our name officially to promote the game mode." No, they didn't use it officially. Officially, you know, would have been, it was on a commercial.
with a quote like,
right.
You guys said this
PUBG
thing.
supports, and no, they said, hey, we like PUBG. Carbine Studios talked about how much they love WoW, and Vanilla WoW in particular, and that's why they were doing this. And that's something studios do. I don't think we would have to look long to find an example of Bluehole doing something similar, even if it was with a smaller game, whether that's with Terra or, hell, maybe even PUBG itself. I don't know. I haven't gone through all their promotional stuff. They even asked them on PC Gamer, when they used your name, was that in official promotional materials, right? And Sammy Kang said it was in their promotional video that was posted on Twitter, and that they would openly mention that they were fans of PUBG. We wanted to make this Battle Royale game mode, and that kind of gave the impression that we were officially involved in this. No, it didn't. They said they were fans of your game.
And I mean, if anything, you know, it's like, okay, so you have people that come in and they try Fortnite, right? And then they go, oh, well, they said that they were inspired by this other game, so maybe I should go try it.
Here's the big thing. I totally get it on the surface. I get it. I have a concern, but to me that would have been a phone call. Hey, what are you guys doing? Go ahead, Jason.
On the Steam page for PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, about this game, PlayerUnknown, aka Brendan Green, is a pioneer of the Battle Royale genre. As a creator of the Battle Royale game mode found in the Armor series and H1Z1 King of the Kill, Green is co-developing the game, blah, blah, blah.
And you know what? I'm not even going to take that away from him. I'm not. Because him personally, I don't think that that's that outlandish a claim.
No, it's not.
Because he did kind of pioneer the Battle Royale back in the Arma mod days, and then that genre has since exploded. But you can't come with this and say, hey, this thing that I've made in the last year and a half is based on this thing, and there's been all these things in between that weren't under my purview, but I'm mad about this one. You can't do that. I'm not going to take the accolades away from him. I think that, all right, might be a little bit of hyperbole there, but not enough that I go, what the hell are you saying?
It's so different when there's a movie. It's like from the makers of this other movie.
Yeah.
Whatever, you know.
Yeah.
From the director of blah. You know?
we really love Indiana Jones movies, so we made an action adventure treasure hunting movie.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean like Tomb Raider?
Yeah.
It's the thing, though. How far with modes and genres and whatever else? How original can you get before it's no longer that anymore? Like to want them to create something completely different, but it's inspired by like there's going to be similarities, or it's not that thing anymore. It's not that mode. It's some other.
I will say all of this. All of the hubbub apparently did not hurt Fortnite's Battle Royale launch day.
Yep, they had 1 million players try it out on day one.
They had over 1 million players on day one. Now, I personally think that that's going to go down very quickly. But, yeah, it didn't hurt launch day. In fact, it probably helped. I just don't get. I could maybe even understand this a little more if they were selling Fortnite Battle Royale, because then there's a money to money. If, well, customers may only be able to buy one, but no, it's free. It's gonna go ahead and be free. So I don't know. I think it's ridiculous on Bluehole's part. I am flat out in the camp of this is absolutely absurd to an argument to be having. Maybe I'm missing something. Not being a huge PUBG guy myself, in with that community, and maybe I'm missing. If we are, put it in the comments below. But I think generally the three of us just kind of go, Bluehole, you're acting silly, right? I don't think I'm misspeaking for either of you two.
Shove it up your blue hole.
That's a little rude.
And if it's blue, go to the doctor. Next up! Here's another wow, what the hell? It's one of those shows today. Actually, now that I look at the third, yeah, it's one of those shows today. Just what the hell is going on in the free-to-play world? Ultima Online. It's going free-to-play. Well, kinda. Kinda. So 20 years this bad boy's been online. They're now going to dabble in free-to-play with a version that they're calling Endless Journey, and it's going to allow you to play Ultima Online for free, but there's a bunch of caveats to this one, aren't there, Q?
Yeah, I mean, you only get up to, you know, a certain expansion. You have limited, like bag space. You're not allowed to have a house. Like, it's just all these little things, you know, that might encourage you to just go ahead and, you know, pay up anyway.
They also said that those restrictions weren't final, and there might be more.
Oh yeah. Oh, and the other one, it's a little weird. Well, I guess I can kind of see it, but if you're currently paying to play, you have to let your account lapse for 120 days before you can switch to this free-to-play mode.
So Jason, if you're subbed and you want to play our free version, you got to stop playing our game totally for 4 months.
What?
Or just create a new account, I guess. New accounts can start playing right now.
To be fair, I mean, we make fun of it, but this is totally centered around getting either new people into Ultima or lapsed players to come back. You know, people maybe hit the nostalgia button a few times, right? With the Ultima Online old heads that haven't played it for years and years. I don't really see people that are still right. I really don't see people that are actively subbed to this going, oh, free, I'm gonna go. No, they're probably gonna still be subbed, and they're not the audience, so whatever. But I just, how ironic and how weird. This is 20 years old now, just now dabbling in free to play. Jason, doesn't that seem odd? Like, why didn't they try this if they wanted to see what it would do 8 years ago?
Hey, I wrote the Meridian 59 article for a while back when I saw that at PAX. So yeah, I'm into all these really old 1990s RPGs. But I don't know. I mean, I guess first I'm a little surprised. I didn't know it was still around.
Really?
I really didn't know people were still doing Ultima Online.
Oh wow!
Is it like actual $15 a month too?
I don't know what their sub
price
is. I don't know what their sub is anymore. We'll check here. Let's check.
I mean, if it had been around, I'm just surprised that it's still going. That there's still enough, as you say, oldies to be that interested in it. I don't know. Like, I can't imagine any new people actually showing up. Really? I mean, other than to try it to see, oh, what is this? I heard about this from 10 years ago, 20 years ago. So
apparently $12.99 per month.
Okay, still.
So play Ultima Online on an official shard. Here's an article, 18 years later, why are people still playing Ultima Online? A whole article on Rock, Paper, Shotgun about exactly your question, Jason.
I mean, good for you if you are, but man.
That's why I say I think this has got to be aimed directly at older Ultima Online players that are lapsed, Q, right? I mean, that's the audience, nobody new.
Well, and you have to, give the people that are still playing a credit. It's one of those things, right? You basically have two kinds of MMO players. You have what I call the MMO nomads, which are like us, where we hop from thing to thing and go see what the newest shiny thing is, and maybe go back and look at some of the old ones. But usually for me, that lasts like maybe a day or two, and then I'm out. But these people that have just been dedicated to it, because really what's keeping them there, right, is their guilds are still there and they still have a community. And like, if their guild's gone, they haven't been in there for a while either. That's just the way it works. They're literally there because their community is so strong that nothing is going to pull them away from basically what is their own.
Oh, I think we lost Q.
Uh-oh, we just got Q just got pulled away.
Oh, Q's back.
Yeah,
there she is. Okay, so nobody's going to pull them away from
what their family. I mean, these people at this point are basically family, you know. So
I don't know. So check it out. I mean, we don't have dates or anything on this one yet, do we? 2018. Yeah, so sometime next year. But hey, if you're a lapsed Ultima Online player, maybe that's enough to get back into it and check it out a little bit.
If you waited around 20 years to get into it, you can wait another 6 months or whatever.
Right, and if you're still subbed, you could cancel your sub right now. And just as you're coming into eligibility, this will launch. So it works. Take the holidays off. If you're
but just remember that you will lose your housing.
Yep.
Oh, and if you want more bank space, basically, you're going to have to rent it.
Yeah, you got to rent it.
And if you don't rent, if you lapse on your rent, you lose all your stuff in your vault.
Yeah. So
That's
if we have not just made this incredibly enticing for you, I don't know what else we could have done here, because it sounds like this is, to me, I have a special place in my heart for Ultima Online, and as you said, I have a special place in my heart for the Ultima Online community because of taking part in that community myself. I haven't for many years now. This ain't going to be enough to do it. Although there is that part of me that's like, oh, I wonder if I would still play that. There's just way too many stupid restrictions on this one for a game that's 20 years old. I couldn't be bothered with it, and that concerns me because I kind of am their target demographic, right? Somebody that played it before, did have some time, although be it limited, time invested into it, and may want to come back but doesn't want to pay. And we still have no word on how that version's going to fund itself, right, Jason? Are they just going to not sell anything and have it cost money? Of course not. They're not going to do that. There's going to be some type of microtransaction system there. So
yeah, that's what they're talking about with like the vault and so on.
Right, right, with the renting shit. So they're off to a grand start in my mind when they're talking about monetization, when you talk about renting things in games. I hate that concept. I hate it. I hate it. All right, moving on before we finish up with the bombs here. I figured I'd throw this in because it was funny. We're not going to do a first look review on this one, by the way. I did a first look. It's up for the Ultimatist Battle. It's a little 2D side-scrolling battle-y game. It's amusing, it's charming, there's some bugs and issues with it. Check out the first look if it's something you're interested in. There is some fun to be had there, and I don't see very many people bitching about the pay-to-win aspects of it, because they're saying you can get all this crap anyway pretty easily. So if you're looking for something different, I mean, the battles only took a couple of minutes each. They were fun. It's a little floaty and hard to control, but check it out. First look video. But I do want to get everybody's thoughts on this. Stephan Frost of WildStar fame, well, previously WildStar fame, was the design producer as WildStar was heading into launch, and then for a little while after launch, and then kind of just surprised everybody on a stream by saying he was serving out his last week at Carbine, and then he said later he was going to Blizz, you know, and all of us were like, well, okay, I would have done that too. I would have left Carbine to go to Blizz, you know, hands down. So then he went to Blizz, Q, right? And what was he doing there? I forget his title off the top of my head.
Oh God, what was his title?
It was with World of Warcraft.
He's a design he was the design producer.
Yeah, he was the design producer on World of Warcraft. So not only did he go to Blizz, but he got a pretty cushy title and was on World of Warcraft. Makes sense so far. The WildStar guy who was a fan of vanilla WoW, now working on WoW, he's now left Blizz. Now keep in mind that he just left WildStar in September of 2014. So we're talking about 3 years here. 3 years. And that could be considered a long time in the gaming biz, I understand. But we're also talking about somebody at the design producer level with a company like Blizz. 3 years seems short in my mind when you put those two things together, Jason, right? That kind of title, that kind of company, you got to get something really enticing to want to leave. And I guess he did. I guess. Because you're never going to believe where he's going, viewers. He's going to Nexon. As a creative/game director for an as-yet brand-new, unannounced PC title. I mean, good luck. I think the guy's funny. Yeah, but I don't... Hell, I know very little about the inner workings of both Nexon and Blizz, having never worked for either company. But I just think that the situations that caused me to leave Blizzard in favor for Nexon are damn few and far between, Jason. Go ahead, Q. Go ahead, Q.
I can think of 0 reasons why. But in fact, I can think of many zeros why that might be the case.
Yeah, I knew the money was going to come in some point.
So I was thinking about this, though, earlier. And I actually met... not last year, but the year before when I was at High Res, I met a guy who left Blizzard to go to High Res.
Okay.
which seems a little weird. He was more one of like their legal people or something like that. But I've also noticed we've had several friends hired by Blizzard.
Yes, we have.
Right, Josh, Olivia.
Yep.
Olivia did not stay at Blizzard very long.
No.
She bolted for Twitch.
Yep.
Right. And I think a lot of it for a lot of people comes down to like you either fit in Blizzard or you don't. Like, because Blizzard's this weird like ivory tower company. It's a very specific kind of place, and I think a lot of people feel like they either belong there, and those are the people that end up with the steins and the swords and the shields and the head things and all like all the I've been here for 20 years. And like I think Josh will be one of those people. He'll get all of those things over time, right? And you would have thought Olivia would have been too, but she was gone like within a year. Like she was out. So I think it's sometimes with Blizzard, it's either you really do fit in here or you just don't. And there's a point where you just go somewhere that's a little more you.
Fair enough. That might be a very valid point. And I would have thought
Nexon?
Yeah, Nexon is the one. That's, Jason, you're dead on. It's like you're reading my mind. That's the part that I'm like, you know what? Even if I was like super uncomfortable, pissed off at Blizz, I don't know if I leave to go to
and let me just say that the people at Blizzard that I've actually met that work there, they're all actually pretty nice. It's just from what I understand of the company's workings, it's a pretty rigid structure kind of environment compared to other places. So
I know. Good luck to him. I don't have anything against the guy. I just thought it was rather funny news to go from Carbine to Blizz, then to Nexon. Like, okay, I would have gotten it if it was Carbine to Nexon to Blizz. That maybe I would have understood a little more. But let's slide over to the weekly bombs. Q, go ahead first.
Oh, I'm going to give an A-bomb to developers saying that players only care about their character's appearance if there's a lot of other people that are going to see it. I don't understand where this logic comes from, but I was reading an article today where they actually said that. It was in regards to MOBAs. But I've played a lot of games where nobody but me is looking at my character. And I've spent, some time making sure that they look cool and, spent time changing their clothes. Dude, I change my clothes in the secret world like every day.
What's ironic? Like, I'm the exact opposite. The characters that you guys don't see, like if I'm Final Fantasy, the games I play a lot of, but I don't generally stream of or aren't free to play, so I don't really talk about them on here all that much. You never see my characters, and I've put a lot of time into those. I do a first look. I'm like, yeah, here's the preset faces, pick one. Here's the hair, pick one. I don't care. I've created some monstrosities in first looks.
So I took this to be more about like multiplayer games versus single player. Q, you're talking about Secret World. I'm like, a lot of people are going to see that when you're running around in the world. So you should care about that.
Saints Row.
Oh, I just said Secret World. Never mind.
No, well, I'm saying Saints Row as well. I'm very specific about how my character looks in Saints Row. Like,
yeah, exactly. That's what I am too. I agree with you. This developer is silly.
Yeah. Go ahead, Jason.
I'm going to give a dub bomb to Star Trek The Next Generation, which turns 30 today.
Yay!
30 years. I can remember the anticipation building up when it was going to come on, and we had it marked on our calendar and everything. So
we did too.
Yeah.
Make it so.
But I remember, I guess maybe because I was just young enough to just be this stupid, I thought Next Generation meant it was literally going to be like, the original Enterprise's kids, like they're the literal next generation.
Yeah.
So when it launched, when it aired the first time, I was very confused.
You were like, how far into the future are we if Patrick Stewart is William Shatner's son?
Worf clearly the offspring of Kirk and Spock.
Well, no, it was just like, that they start saying the dates and stuff, and I'm like, okay.
However, I have to give an A-bomb to Star Trek Discovery for the first episode that we could all see. It was kind of dull. I've heard the second one is good, but that's the one they put behind the paywall.
I've seen them both, and let's say for all the people that are excited for the show, I'm very happy for them. There's lots of women and people of color and stuff like that are very, very excited that they have these kinds of characters in a sci-fi thing. But like, I think this series will appeal more to people who don't actually like Trek. Like Jasmine said that she's never been interested in Star Trek. She's tried to watch, could never get into it, but she's super psyched seeing the first couple of episodes of this. But thematically, it's not Star Trek. It's a darker show. It doesn't appear to have that hope for the future kind of thing that Star Trek is supposed to have. It's more dystopian and kind of gloomy so far. And it's just not, it's not what original Trek fans necessarily look for in Star Trek.
And I'm going to stay out of that discussion because I haven't watched any of it yet. I'm going to give a dub bomb to Lawbreakers having a free weekend. I think it's funny. Yeah, all right, fine. Other games do the advertising, promotional free weekends too, but that's Lawbreakers. That's
when
funny.
Did they have the free weekend?
If you can't,
what was going on at the same time?
Yeah, if you can't find, oh, that's right. If you can't find humor in Lawbreakers having a free weekend already, you're dead. Your soul is dead. Find some humor in it. By the way, the Call of Duty beta is that weekend as well. Good luck. The A-bomb goes to EverQuest 2, not making previous expansions free anymore. That used to be like the process, right? They had it for years, and new expansion comes out, the old ones go free. And Jason, you and I definitely see eye to eye on this one. We thought that might have been a bit overly generous of them to begin with. Mm-hmm. You know, you don't see Guild Wars 2 giving away Heart of Thorns right now, right? Mm-hmm. Eventually, maybe, but not right now, even though Path of Fire is out. But you've done it for like a decade and a half at this point. It seems kind of foolish. I think, yeah, we talked about EverQuest last week, and this just adds to my... I don't think it's going to be here long. From the viewers, Die Fool says, that's a good name. For the record, I'm loving Fortnite Battle Royale, and just hope they add things like winning tokens and unlockables, etc. But it is very early, and yet it is very fun, and that's the only thing that matters to me. So, all right, Die Fool, we will let PUBG know that Fortnite has stolen you and claim damages. We'll let them know. Glad you're liking it, though. Go ahead, Jason.
Lucivex Treasure says, "The bomb to you guys." Aw, thanks. Opposite to the commenter last week, your format is a big reason I watch or listen if I'm farming. I assume she'd talk about the guy who's upset that we go an hour or whatever.
Yeah.
I like seeing the varying opinions, one of which usually aligns with mine, and you guys just have fun chemistry in your communication together, so I say keep it up.
Thank you, Elusive. Go ahead, Q.
Nintendo, A-bombs. So people do not like 1 hour long podcasts? What does that person think a podcast is? Did anyone ever see a 7-minute podcast?
Just reminds me of There's Something About Mary. 7-minute abs. What happens when somebody makes a 6-minute abs? No, I said 7-minute abs.
The Bomb to Warframe, what is it with that game? I hate it. I completely hate it. The grinding is boring. Hell, I'm grinding the last damn Nidus part. For a week, and the mission type makes me fall asleep. I'm not kidding. I fell asleep once, all the grind. But yet, I'm still sitting hours in the game playing the same missions over and over and over and over and over. And I can't seem to need to alert. Okay, thanks, bye.
You really have to reconcile that one in your head, because you hear da bomb and then the first two sentences you're like, did they mean a bomb?
I'm confused.
From Christos Carcinides, apologies for pronunciation if we've butchered it, but we often do. The Orville, while I actually do like Seth, spins around one concept to get laughs: awkwardness. Thus, it becomes predictable and boring too fast. For hardcore fans, perhaps it'll be okay. For others that want a more witty/smart comedy series, I would suggest Fleabag. Q, you kind of talked about the Orville last week. That's where this comment comes from. Are you keeping up with it? Is it still capturing your interest?
Yeah,
where are you with it?
So the reason I started watching the Orville is, like me, I know Seth MacFarlane is a huge Trekkie, like huge. And his entire reason for making this series is what I was talking about earlier, that he's like, there's so much sci-fi, but all of it's dystopian right now. And he's like, we want to make something that shows a brighter shinier future, like original Star Trek did. Like that was the whole point behind it. So that's the reason why I started watching it. Yes, I'm a huge Seth MacFarlane fan.
Nothing spurs hope like having to command a ship with your cheating ex-wife. You know, that's that part, yay, hopeful.
But the thing is like her character, if you watch it, the way her character done is actually very nice. She's not like a bitter, bitchy wife. Yes, they're kind of bitter to each other, but she's not made to be out to be this terrible person. And she's actually made out to be way smarter than he is.
Kitty!
You know, last week they decided to, like, third episode in, they basically decide to handle an issue of this child is born to a race that is a single gender race.
Oh yeah, I saw the articles about that.
And the gender is male for the race, but it's a girl, and they want to have a sex change done. And of course, all the humans are like, "What? You want to do what?" And you find out that the husband, the other spouse, was originally a girl and had it done, and it was like this big, huge deal. And they handled it like you would think, oh, this is a comedy.
Spoiler alert!
Sorry.
I don't know. Should we put that in there?
Possibly. I don't know, but you would think there'd be no way they could handle this with it being a comedy, but they did a very good job.
Awesome. Go ahead, Jason. Take the next one.
And you're done, Q.
Good.
All right,
well, we've already pissed off anybody that hasn't watched the episode, so let's move on.
Well, she froze up on my screen. That's why I was saying that. So
gotcha.
All right. Defamad says, dub on to Blatant Soul for adding the Gunner class. In my opinion, the best thing done to the game in a long time. P.S. First time commenting on Free to Play Cast. Love the show. Stay awesome. Defamads, you stay awesome too.
You stay awesome too. Go ahead, Q.
Dimitrico, I want to give a bomb to Guild Wars 2's expansion, literally 45 minutes in, and they have already fulfilled a lore nerd's wet dream.
I'm more than 45 minutes in, and I'm dry.
Are you?
Oh my God! I don't believe you just said that.
Well, it is a desert.
I hate this show. Oh. That's just great quotes out of context, and there are a ton of them on this show, but just add that one. Lord Thoverisk says, I'm pretty sure that guy, this was in response to somebody last week, I put their comments on the show saying the show's too long. Lord Thoverisk, I'm pretty sure that guy at 57 minutes in is obviously not going to listen so far into the video to hear your answer. Edit. Besides, most of us who like the podcast actually love a longer show. Lord, thank you for getting that. That was kind of my own little internal joke on actually answering that in the show. Prior to the show, I did answer that viewer already on YouTube, hoping that they would get the reply, but I thought it was funny, and I'm glad you got it. Question of the week last week, what do you think of Steam's new review system? Is it better? Is it worse? Does it help buyers avoid any storm of bad reviews? Spoiler alert, no, it doesn't at all. Yeah, so Nintendo says revisiting the review system is long overdue, like years too late. The damage has been done by now. Faked reviews are everywhere, paid reviews, and so on. You got them everywhere, misleading buyers. The more impressive thing is, as Jason said, the timing with the recent Dota 2 review bombing is just too perfect for them to review the review system. It feels like they didn't really see the GTA 5 review bomb after practically banning mods. The backlash wasn't even a bomb, but a nuke, from very positive to overwhelmingly negative within 2 weeks. Will reviewing it help? No, not at all. They're not fixing anything with it. Now you can see the review history. In a case of GTA 5, people will go back and check out where the sudden storm of negativity and reviews came in, and will eventually find the reason rather fast. To be honest, couldn't care less about Dota 2 or their card game. That was quite negatively received since people instantly understood why they're releasing a card game of it. Right on board with pretty much all of our thoughts, but it's just speculation on our part. We aren't accusing Valve of anything, of course. No. Go ahead, Jason.
Defamads again, and please let me know if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly, if it's like Dafemads or Defemads or something, I don't know. Question of the week. Steam graphs mean nothing to me because by then I'd have already seen videos, screenshots, trailers, gameplay, etc. telling me, hey, see that product? You're going to hate it. Heck, I can watch those on Steam itself.
Pretty much. Go ahead, Q.
Wilfredo Rivera. People are who they are. The review is a review based on someone's experience that isn't yours. I can watch Magic Man get completely owned in Smite or Jason get butchered in Total War, and I still have my own opinions on the game. Steam just wants to mitigate a toxic community, and I get that, but people are who they are. Good, bad, or indifferent. Steam can't control a person's thoughts yet. Head crabs are real.
I don't know what you're talking
Fredo,
about.
I'm giving you a bad review for that comment. Thumbs down.
I don't know what you're talking about. Jason never gets butchered in Total War, and I certainly never get owned in Smite.
No.
KO says, there's nothing Valve can do, so I miss a drama over a game's update. It's good to try, but how about devs start listening to the community? I know, bloody insane, right? And not make stupid decisions.
Our community is concerned.
They are concerned. Question of the week this week. Is the team at PUBG right to be concerned in any way about Epic Games, given that they license the game engine from them? Why or why not? Let us know how you feel. I think all three of us made it pretty clear. We think this is ego-driven, overblown money mania. But maybe you see an aspect of it we didn't touch on. Put it in the comments below. And don't forget your weekly bombs. Dub bomb for something good, A bomb for something bad, or a question or comment for any of the panel here. Until next week, Q, where can everybody find you?
Hanging out on the Twitters at Quintland.
Jason.
Find me on Twitter at Winter Informal, streaming at twitch.tv/JasonWinter.
I'm Mike Byrne. You can follow me personally on Twitter at magicman1, MAGICKMANN1. But more importantly, while you're there, follow at MMOBomb so that we can tweet directly at you. 1 hour podcast, 7-minute free-to-play weeklies, and a bunch of other timed goodies that we post on the site, including giveaways, interviews, and more. Until next week, stay safe. We'll see you on the servers.